let's get into the show. With that being said, we are talking NWA WCW August the 2nd from 1986. And we are sponsored actually by you, the patron. Again, go to tinyurl.com/BDD patron and help support the show. Be the sponsor that we love. Not that we don't love the Wrestling Palace because they're still there, but I wanted to say that. But come on, patron, tinyurl.com/BDD patron. Get access to all the patron episodes and a chance to potentially come on the show. Again, thanks to all the patrons out there. Now, we get into this thing this weekend, and a little bit different episode. We're going to talk about that in a second, but the opening, David Crockett is at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, and he's walking us through the opening, and he breaks the news that Dusty defeated Rick for the NWA World Title. And Harper and Doc, before we really say a lot more about that, I think we're going to talk about that in a minute when Dusty comes out, cuts a promo, or has like an interview. So we'll hold that, but they also talk about the status of the U.S. Belt, where I think there's still wrestling matches for the belt. So just kind of somber opening, I guess. I kind of hate, as I look back at this now, that they announced right off the top that Dusty won the title. Because they don't tease that they're going to show it either. It just kind of says it. You know what I'm saying, Doc?
Yeah.
Don't give a shit how it happened. I'm just sad that it happened. Did you notice that inside the baseball stadium behind Crockett up on the second deck was a big ass Marlboro ad?
God, yeah.
You
remember that back when like every football stadium and baseball, basketball had fucking Marlboro everywhere.
Everywhere.
Talk about things you legally cannot do today.
Yeah.
And then
everywhere.
Rick lost the belt, dude. That's not gonna. I have a feeling the Horsemen will have some rebuttals on that shit.
Of course. So Harper, anything else from the opening from you?
No. Oh, okay. I guess. So Magnum TA has one win, right? So.
Okay. Did he say two?
Well, no. Let's talk about this because this is confusing to me, and I couldn't keep up. So tonight, meaning the night that that this airs,
right,
is the final bash at Fulton County Stadium. Yet they aren't necessarily ready to wrap up all the angles.
Well, it makes sense with Nikita and Magnum, because if you've got DQ matches thrown in there, you can't have a winner, so that's how you can extend that. But I see what you're saying. They're not ready to wrap it up.
Unless Nikita wins, they didn't finish their angle at the bash.
Yeah.
No. You're right about that. And yeah, no, you're right. Hey, come on, man. It's 80s wrestling. It doesn't always have to make sense. It's like a misconception.
Nobody had access to information to super sleuth all this together back then. Man. It was like, well, goddamn, Martha, there's some wrestling down at the old wrestling place. Let's go see it.
Okay, let's keep moving. I am going to play this real quick. I've cut out Crusher's part, but first promo is Ivan. It's Ivan and Crusher, and let's hear what Ivan's got to say.
All right, Ivan. Yes, there is nothing that's going to stop us, Crusher. Nephew Nikita feels the same way as I do and Crusher does. World Six-Man Tag Team Trophy belongs to us. Dusty Rhodes, Great American Troublemaker, and Road Warriors. It's a matter of time before we get it back. And like Crusher brought up, you go find somebody to take your place. And we'll beat them up also. Because that's what we have in mind, to take our trophy back, and nothing will stop us. Now, yes, this Great American Bash has created a lot of interest, has drawn attention from different wrestlers I see coming into the area. There's Buddy Landell, there's Bill Dundee, there's Captain Redneck, Dick Murdoch, Jayhawkers, there's Bobby Jaggers, his name is, and Dutch Mantel. All these men have proven themselves in the past. Big names in wrestling. Now they've come to the hub of all NWA wrestling, Jim Crockett Promotion. And they're going to see how they can fare. And I've run into them in the past many times. And they are all tough. They all have the credentials that prove themselves. But you come out, you people, you still got time. Jump in your car, come on down to the stadium. See Great American Bash. See Nephew Nikita defeat Magnum TA for United States Heavyweight title.
Okay, now we'd like to take a look
Doc, go ahead. I'll let you go first.
Man, I liked when he was like, called him the Great American Nightmare, and just you pick your replacement, we'll beat them up too. And damn, everybody's on board of talking him in the building. Even Ivan's like, hop in your car right now, turn off your TV, get on down here. Did you? I have to believe that set that because they're on they kind of built out the set. That set has to be the same backdrop for the porno that the guy that was driving the car earlier was watching when he ran off the road and died. That was some low rent looking shit behind him.
Well, the lighting is bad too. It's like really gray.
It's either there's light spots on that thing or it's dirty or some shit. And then I can just see some college girl. So you want me to do what? Well, see, here's if there was a black casting couch, it'd be over, pal. And then at 11:40, if you look at Ivan, he's just sitting there, just massaging his junk, just basically. So,
I have that part. I'm gonna cue that up because there's a second part to this after that match. I was gonna play that from Ivan because that's when he's really trying to talk him into the building too. Harper, did you have anything from that first part with Ivan right there?
When I heard Buddy Landell and Bill Dundee, that shit made me sit up. I was like, "Wait, what?"
Oh yeah, pal.
He's back.
Yeah, Buddy and Bill Dundee later on in this episode.
Yeah, that was. So they were kind of like went off the rails, huh?
Dude,
I told you fuckers I'd be back.
God damn, it's so good later on. I can't wait till we get to it. Now, for now, so they throw us to a match. It's the Russians versus Randy Barber, Vernon Deet, and Mike Samani. The Russians win. And now I'm going to play the second part of Ivan right here, where he's talking him into the building, trying to get him to Fulton County Stadium right here.
And the winning move, that big Russian sickle by Nikita Koloff, which brings us to this point. Tonight, Atlanta's Fulton County Stadium, the Great American Bash. U.S. Heavyweight title, best of 7 series. Match number 5. Now, Nikita leads 3-1. He won the first 3. Magnum won the last one in Greensboro. Many people say Magnum is on his way back.
Very controversial the way he won, though. Yes, but tonight, everybody's going to see nephew Nikita become United States heavyweight champion. You know, every week we get thousands and thousands of different letters from fans all over the country, all over America. I bring one out here to read for today because they're all about the same thing. These Americans write the same thing. They say, "Hey, Koloff, Khrushchev." Hey, I don't know what this means. Hey, my family and friends seen you on TV last week, and we're all of the same opinion. We don't like you. I can't say this word, rats. Why don't you go back to Russia? You think that you're going to beat Magnum TA. Well, nephew Nikita is leading 3-1, and tonight he's going to take United States heavyweight champion. You bring your flags, your American flags, and you can say what you want. But whenever you get down there and witness for yourself, you'll know who the superior athlete is, nephew Nikita.
Well, fans, tonight we'll find out. Match 5 of the best of 7.
Doc, Ivan's got a big handful of freaking crotch just chilling up in this set.
I told you.
You ain't lying.
Dude, I mean, Ivan's got me about ready to just
hop in the car.
Sell out a whole presidential election and shit, dude. I'm ready.
You can't resist. You can't resist. Somebody will send me something. Fuck him. Talking politics.
You're going to talk politics.
No, we're not. We've been into wrestling.
We're just here to watch wrestling and make America great, man.
Anyway. Harper, anything from you right there with Ivan?
Did he say fag? When he says American fag and then he says flag?
Oh, by mistake, you mean? Yeah. Okay. No, he didn't say it. He made me laugh when he said, I can't even, he's reading a letter. I can't say this on air. Moving right along. We got Dusty Rhodes, if you will, about to cut his promo after his big win. Here it is.
The most coveted belt in the world today, the NWA World Heavyweight Championship belt, and I'm very proud to say it is held by one man, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, for the 3rd time in his career. becomes the heavyweight champion of the world. How does it feel to be the world champion for the third time, Dusty?
It feels good as punch, good as gold. Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream. 3 times world heavyweight champion. Nature Boy Ric Flair. All them years. Some say he's a great champion. Some say if he came out of the Great American Bash with the title, he'd be the greatest champion of all times. The proof is in the pudding, and the pudding's sitting here. Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream. Little plumber son from Austin, Texas. Tony Schiavone becomes world heavyweight champion for the 3rd time.
A lot of people said if Ric Flair would go through 14 bashes, it would be something incredible. The 13th bash, he lost the title. And a lot of people said, he had a lot of tough competitors during those matches. You were at the bashes also. You had a lot of tough matches. In a cage with one of the Road Warriors against the Andersons. You had to go up against the Midnight Express. Both men very fatigued coming into that 13th bash. How did you prepare for that?
Well, I think, Tony, that fatigue doesn't really have anything to do with it. Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream. When you're wrestling for the most coveted sports title in the world of sports, $45,000 belt, $1 million a year, then fatigue has no play in it. Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, was raised to be a world heavyweight champion. He was raised to be a champion, was studied by a plumber in Austin, Texas, grew up in a plumber's ditch when I was 8 years old working, and had this dream to be the American Dream. And for many years before it was fashionable to be a doctor and come out of the back closet and say, I like wrestling. Before it was fashionable to be a lawyer or somebody say, I like wrestling. Before all that was fashionable, Dusty Rhodes was the American Dream. He gave the American public this one thing that they could reach out and touch and reach out and believe in. They say, well, Dusty Rhodes, you're going to talk for 2 minutes on TV. Nobody ever told Dusty Rhodes what to say, how to say it, or how to do it. The fact is, the world heavyweight title was what every great athlete in every great sport is after. So on that given night, fatigue had nothing to do with it. Ric Flair was at his best. I was at my best. It was one-on-one. The cage was there. There was nobody inside. There was no referee falling down. It was pure, simple, and done. The American Dream 1, 2, 3 became world heavyweight champion for the people. The dream is true. It lives. It's alive. It's out there. Gosh almighty. It's everywhere for everybody to reach for. Whether you're black, brown, white, green, yellow, whether you're a great commentator here, as Tony Schiavone has been, whether you're Jim Crockett Promotions, I mean, gosh, it's everywhere. The American Dream can be had, and Dusty Rhodes has it. And it's like a good friend of mine said, David Allen Coffey, if you're big star bound, let me tell you, it's a long, hard ride. And tonight, again, a cage is being erected right there in the Fulton County Stadium for one reason. After it's all over, all the music's over, all the men jump out them planes from the sky and land in the stadium, it's 40,000, 50,000 people come and see Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, and Ric Flair inside a steel cage. This time, I'm defending the world heavyweight title. And reminds me of, as you know, one of Space Mountain and Ric Flair's greatest sins of all time was to be the man, you got to beat the man. Well, Nature Boy, if you ever want to be the man again, you have to beat the man. Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, world's heavyweight champion.
All right, I stopped it there because it goes on. They're about to talk about some other stuff, but two things, and then I want to throw it to y'all. One, did y'all hear when Dusty said he was studded by a plumber? Did y'all catch that line?
I didn't know
he was
what
studded.
I couldn't
he was
tell
studded.
What the fuck he was saying.
Like you know how they have dogs that stud.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, I got this reference. I couldn't hear it at first.
It's like a it's like, what the fuck did you just say?
His dad made him with another guy that was a plumber across town.
It's like, what is he talking about?
He's a purebred plumber.
Yeah.
Right. I was like, you were studded by a plumber. So I came unglued, and when he said erupted, erected. That popped me too. Harper, I'll throw it to you first. Did you have anything else?
I love what he said. No one told me what to say on TV. Something people do now in fucking wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he ain't lying right there. He walked out there and went and didn't say what he wanted.
Yeah.
Doc, what did you have?
first of all, this is all fucking fake news if there ever was. Rick is still, I'm going to wake up from a dream and Rick will still have
that's what he's talking about. I was like, what are you talking about fake news for? This ain't the news we're talking. Okay, I got you.
But the one thing that I thought was really awesome here is the thing where he said the referee didn't fall down. We were in the cage, fatigue, nothing. He's building up the fact that there's a whole bunch of gaga that goes on in and around this thing. But the belt still means something, and I took it off of him. And this is the first half of the amulet. This is the first piece of the puzzle that Rick then comes in and fills in later. And it really showed to me that both guys were working together to tell that story after you hear Flair's interview later on. And that it's the yin to the yang, and you got to have both sides of it.
Yeah, I agree. Flair's response later, or take on things later, is really good. We'll get to that, but it's some good stuff. Anything else, Doc?
No, sir.
After that, they give an update on the Super Summer Sizzling Tour. I'm not gonna play it, but I'll ask Harper first. Harper, any thoughts on?
There was a Tammy or a Wendy. There was a Tammy or a Wendy or some name that I popped on because it was a name that I would expect to hit Pamela or.
When they start naming the little broads off.
That one that was going tour with the rock and roll. How many crotches on these broads got moist? Like freaking
all of them.
Jesus.
And Doc, they all got slayed.
Oh, they all got slayed. Doc, you? Any thoughts?
All I got to say is, never mind. I'm not going to say that.
Say it.
No, that'll piss off everybody who likes to touch children down in Alabama.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I just, the rock and roll is probably going to have sex with somebody that won that contest. How about that?
Okay. Well, no,
I would say about half of them.
These are the girls they named are of age. These are not. These are 18 and aboves.
And let me ask you this: how old are the rock and roll at this time?
Oh, they're like in their 20s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, because Ricky's born. Yeah, they're in their late 20s though.
Okay. Yeah, they're like 28, 29 probably.
Late 20s, but yeah, for sure. But Robert, no, the names that they gave out here, these were the girls. These were the of age women. These weren't like teen. You're making a joke about fucking fondling young teenagers. No, these are 18s and above that have won this.
So, what's the date of this episode?
August 2nd, 86.
Yeah.
July what?
August 2nd, 1986.
So, Robert Gibson had just celebrated his 28th birthday.
Right.
2 weeks prior. So,
was Ricky like 29?
Hey, man, when I was 27, I was still banging out 20-year-olds, yeah.
Yeah.
That's all right.
I don't. That's
well, let me ask you this. Your little daughter comes home at 19 with a 28-year-old Rock and Roll Express member, and what are you going to say?
Awesome.
Dude, will you sign my bandana?
Could you sign my poster?
I don't know, man. We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah, whatever.
It's closer than you think, pal.
Like I said, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Don't worry, your time's coming.
Hey, keep your kids away from Judges and Rock and Roll Express, right?
Yeah. All right, let's keep going. So they give the update, whatever, and then there's a match. It's the Midnight Express versus the Road Warriors replay with Dusty and Shivani providing commentary. Dusty does give out some commentary here when he talks about Baby Doll hitting Corny. I thought that was kind of funny. Doc, do you have anything from that?
I just feel like, first of all, this episode's awesome, but this was a dirty trick on the recaps because I want to hear what Dusty has to say. But I just watched this match, so I don't want to watch it again because I hate recaps. but they put in just enough new stuff that makes me like, well, I can't miss it because, I mean, shit, I got to talk to the thousands and thousands of Docaholics about it. So I was really stuck in the middle, and it felt like to me it was, we don't have any content, so let's go do this to fill up the show. And I don't like it when that happens.
Harper, what'd you have? Anything from on the commentary there?
Is this when he calls him Tinkerbell?
I don't even remember.
When he calls Cornette Tinkerbell?
Probably.
Look at him dancing around like Tinkerbell.
Yeah, that's probably.
And did you see how sweaty Cornette was?
But them buildings don't have AC. Bro.
Yeah, I know.
Summer in the South.
I'm still amazed that these large buildings 30 years ago didn't have fucking air conditioning. That's crazy.
Huh? That was normal, bro.
Yeah, because they were built 30 years before that.
Yeah, that's normal. Like, I mean, dude, I swear, I mean, we didn't have a basketball team when I was a kid in New Orleans, but every fucking civic center I went to, the only goddamn building I went to as a kid in New Orleans that had AC was the goddamn Superdome. Any other building,
had it.
Hey, pal, I bet.
Well, you're right there with the Lakefront Arena, but that was kind of. But when was that built, Harper?
84.
It was built. There you go. There's your answer.
The Municipal Auditorium had fucking AC.
Maybe later in the 80s. I don't know, bro. I can remember Civic Centers having it. Like, I remember the St. Bernard Civic Center in the 80s didn't have that shit.
Damn. Really? Fuck.
Yeah. At least that's what I remember. It just was, we were used to it. It was like, you can't miss what you never had.
Hold on. That building that we liked so much, the Dorton Arena from last week or the week before.
The windows?
Yeah, that shit opened in 1952.
Damn!
Right. Yeah, and didn't have AC for the longest.
That looked like a very modernized building for being that damn old.
It did. Because it was 34 years old before we saw it last,
So what's that building in where Moretti goes? Not Moretti, or Spartanburg, South Carolina. What's that building called?
Township Auditorium? No, that's, I don't know, man. Them buildings ain't had no AC.
No, because they were built back before, back when America was great. Where's the township? It's Columbia.
Columbia, yeah.
Okay, let me see if I can't pick that up. God,
do that, and I'm gonna keep.
That building's so beaten down that it didn't even have a Wikipedia entry. Jesus Christ, how legit can you be in this world?
Okay, let me keep moving. But yes, I realized it, and he was sweaty because he was in a building with no AC, and that was that. All right, so the next match, they give a Paul Jones and Boogie Woogie Jimmy Valiant update. First, in this match, Paul Jones is busted open. Earl Hebner is the referee. Paul Jones, with help from Shaska, does win the match. I didn't remember that Sandy Scott of Smoky Mountain fame is the one who shaved Boogie. Now, shaving Boogie was a little harder than it was shaving Shaska a few weeks ago, if you noticed. They had a lot of trouble getting through that rug. Doc, any thoughts on Boogie getting shaved and what his hair smelled like?
You told me that you thought it smelled like ass.
It probably smelled like an ashtray and stale beer.
Yeah, that's what I would
Ashtray, stale beer, crystal meth, and Badussy.
Badussy's a good one. I thought Paul Jones moved in the clip we got, moved around the ring better than I had expected. So good for him. I think Mike said that he would have wished he could have been there to see the whole match, and that he would have probably given it 5.25 stars for the Boogie Paul Jones match. I thought Boogie sold the hair thing pretty well.
Yeah.
All things considered, and again, I've had long hair and I've had short hair, and I know how you can feel when you have long hair. I wonder how much extra he got for doing that, and even then, it's still like a thing. Because I had long hair when I was in my 20s. You got that uncle and that grandpa. Man, I'll give you $100 if you cut that sissy shit off. And I'm like, why don't you take that $100 and shove it up your asshole, man? You wish you could grow this shit and crush ass like I do. You take your erectile dysfunction back to the shed, fucking beat off the weird porn, motherfucker.
It died in a car wreck.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Go pop your fucking beta tape in your goddamn beta machine, asshole, and go watch your porn tape that costs you $8 for one tape.
No. Back then, they actually pulled out the actual screen, had a reel-to-reel tape, and they called them stag films, pal.
God.
So, Sandy Scott looked like he had sheared a man before, though. He looked like he knew what he was doing, so... it certainly wasn't the Bic razor on a sweaty head. He was actually,
no, it wasn't. Thank God.
He knew what he was doing. I thought Boogie sold it well. And really, to be honest, when you're talking about this crew, who we've kind of, we haven't been the biggest fans of over the past year or so, I thought this is about the height of the feud, and it's about as good as it gets with these guys. And I thought it was pretty good, all things considered.
Yeah, I did too. Harper, what'd you think?
I think Boogie sold it well, like Doc said. He looked like he was distraught from it. Like, oh God, I can't believe this is fucking happening.
Yeah, he was mad. You could tell.
And all the other faces kind of came to his aid, and they're like, "No, shut up."
Watching like the recap of it. I mean, we weren't high on the angle. Well, I don't say we weren't high on the angle, but we kind of were. Boogie hadn't been our favorite and whatnot, but I tell you what, man, this was done pretty good, man. I liked it. I mean, Paul Jones is busted open as a heel, but at the end of it, the babyface is the one who gets shaved, and I think that's how you do it, and it was good. A nice little payoff there. Shasko got shaved, plus Boogie got shaved, so kind of almost a stalemate in that respect, but still good stuff, and I liked it. Now, they'd have been fine if they'd have left it at that and not rolled to the next segment where Paul Jones is talking to Bill Apter for 10 minutes.
Oh, God.
Well, I can't tell you what they talked about because that got a big old FF, pal.
Yeah.
I listened to it, and I really didn't take much from it other than Paul Jones has let his mustache grow a little more. That way he doesn't look just like Hitler, and it's a lot fluffier all the way across across his mouth. Other than that, I don't have anything from it, but that's that. Now, so after that, we roll into, I'm going to play part one from this, the Road Warriors, and the Road Warriors, they got something to say. Here it is.
By the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors. To my right, Animal, Hawk, and standing behind them, manager Precious Paul Ellering. Tonight in a cage, the Road Warriors get their hands on the Midnight Express, and of course, Baby Doll will be their partner in the cage, going after Jim Cornette. Hawk, it's all tonight at Fulton.
Tony Schiavone, have you ever baked a potato in the oven? Well, if you have, you check it with a fork to see if it's done. Well, in Atlanta Fulton County Stadium tonight, nobody's going to have to check the Midnight Express or Jimmy Cornette with a fork. But they will be done. Because the difference between the Road Warriors and every other tag team in the world is this. You take any tag team but us, put them on some railroad tracks with a locomotive heading right towards them, and what happens? It runs them over. You put us on the track with the same locomotive, you know what happens? The locomotive takes a dirt road. That right, big man? You know something, Tony Schiavone? All these people here, I'm not going to keep you waiting in Atlanta because you got a match to go watch us beat the heck out of the Midnight Express. But not only for you people here in Atlanta, whether it's Los Angeles or wherever we go, let me remind you of one thing. We've been tag teaming here not once, not only twice, but 3 years in a row, and we'll bet our life savings, which is a lot, right, Paul? That we'll get it again this year. Now, Midnight Express, the reason you don't want to wrestle us in a regular tag team match is you're scared. You'll say the Rock and Roll Express is number one. You'll say the Andersons deserve a shot before we do. But the real reason is you're afraid. You're afraid to get in the ring with the Legion of Doom. It don't matter if it's the Midnight Express, the Koloffs, or especially you, Ric Flair, Tully Blanchard, or the Andersons. Whether it's in L.A. or anywhere else in the country, we're going to get you. You can't run from the Legion of Doom. Right, Paul?
That's it.
Well, your street brother.
They start talking to Ellering here, so I thought that was the good part is what we heard. Harper, any thoughts from you on that?
I like what he says when he's about to train, taking a dirt road, because that's how big and tough they are. Even a train will fucking move out the way for him. So that was good. And I'm glad you cut off fucking Paul. God, dude.
They're just believable. I mean, you just everything about him. We've talked about it before. Doc, what did you have from it?
Man, that's what I was saying. If I was fucking Midnight Express, I'd be like, dude, we're in trouble tonight. They mean business. I'm scared. I did like the little nod Animal gave to Ellering, since apparently Ellering was E.F. Hutton for those sons of bitches.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's just, I mean, I get, I don't know if some of it, the guess is I'd say it's all of the above, but if it's personality, if it's the juice, whatever it is, Hawk is just one of those guys. It's like when he walks in the room, even if it's in the locker room, you can feel it in the air, the tension, like an intense dude. And man, I love the fact that he just gave that interview without having to yell.
Well, it's almost like he's, like you say, he didn't yell, but it's his volume is still turned up, if that makes sense. He's not yelling,
exactly.
But
he's leaning forward in his chair and he's communicating everything without having to yell, but it's just as serious.
Yeah. Well, and then the other part too is like there is a second part of it. I'm not gonna play it because they do talk a little longer after, like they go to break and then they come back. But part two of it, they talk. They get into, I mean, it's the same thing. They're not yelling and screaming, but I think this is significant because, you know, we're gonna see. This is gonna sound crazy, but this is August. We're not that far away from Starrcade 86. It feels like we just did Starrcade 85, but we're getting closer to it. And, you know, the Road Warriors and Midnight Express. And that's all I'm going to say. Most people know what ends up happening. But, so I feel like this was like a first step towards that. I mean, they had a match already, obviously, but.
Let's put two big dudes and two of the best bumpers and workers up on a scaffold where they can't do shit.
Yeah. but. When you watch it, I'm not going to.
Scaffolds are stupid, and we had the worst stipulations one night, and we said that.
Bruh, it's one of the worst, but let me tell you something. If I had to pick the best scaffold match, it would be that one.
The best of the worst.
Well, it's because Bobby and I can't even get it out. Dennis, they're so terrified, it actually sells it. Well, I mean, we're going to talk about that in a few months. So anyway, all right, we'll move forward now. We got Ric Flair. Harper, if you got to take a piss, this one's kind of long. So
this one's real long, huh?
Yeah. Well, it's two parts. I'm going to play the first part because I think the first part really, really tells it all. And I say first part, it's like 4 minutes. So here it is.
It was 1 week ago that Nature Boy Ric Flair lost the World Heavyweight title to the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. I'm going to be very honest with you. It's unusual for me to come out here and announce you without saying heavyweight champion of the world, but that is a fact right now. The only thing I got to say, it was a tremendous match, you and Dusty Rhodes for the title in Greensboro.
Well, Tony, if you find it unusual to announce me as anything but the World Heavyweight Champion, imagine what it's like for me to walk out here and to be announced as anything except the World Heavyweight Champion. The word former doesn't fit the name Ric Flair. The name past does not fit the name Ric Flair. But today I'm walking out here, and as the whole world can see, I'm just as clean and just as slick as I've always been. I'm still Space Mountain. I'm still, in my mind, and in the mind of every wrestler in the world today, I'm sure, the greatest wrestler alive. The only difference is Dusty Rhodes is now the World Heavyweight Wrestling Champion. He is the #1 man in the sport we know to be the greatest sport in the world today. I'm talking about professional wrestling. I didn't slip on a banana. I didn't trip over a referee. I didn't walk in that ring with any kind of injury. I got beat last Saturday night, and I'm going to swallow my pride right now, Tony Schiavone, by a better man on that given night. Not by a better man than Ric Flair, but on that given night by a better man. Now, Tony Schiavone, Dusty Rhodes has got to show me right here in Atlanta, Georgia tonight
that he can do it again. He's got to prove to me, nobody else, that he can do it again. When you've been wrestling 12 years, your record is 3,115 wins and 6 losses, then you can stand out here and talk the way you want to talk, because my win-loss record, for a fact, is the greatest of all time in this sport, and you'll never see that loss column hit double figures. That means, Dusty Rhodes, that I'm going to dog you, my friend, tonight in Atlanta. If not tonight, St. Louis, Kansas City, Dallas, Greensboro, Richmond, Chicago, Minneapolis, Los Angeles, wherever it is. I got enough money in my bank account to make sure that Jim Crockett and the National Wrestling Alliance get my name on a dotted line enough times. Sooner or later, you're going to have to. It happens that way, my friend. You're going to have to stub your toe, and I'm going to be there to reap the harvest, Eddie. Now,
do you think that putting up the title like you did on every night of the bash, when you got down to the 13th bash, had anything to do with...
There's no excuse. For every title match I had, Dusty Rhodes had just as tough a match. You see, when you're in the National Wrestling Alliance, Tony Schiavone, and I'm not blowing anybody's horn, Dusty Rhodes right now is the world heavyweight champion. He's the best wrestler in the world today because he's got the belt around his waist. When you're talking about Dick Murdoch, the Road Warriors, the Garvins, the Wahoo McDaniels, the Andersons, the Tully Blanchards, the Koloffs, where do you want me to start? Where do you want me to stop? Right. You're talking about the greatest wrestlers in the world today. This isn't Hollywood. This isn't Broadway. This isn't a music station. This is professional wrestling. I pride myself on being a man, 100% man. Dusty Rhodes, whether I like him or dislike him, has got nothing to do with it. When it came time for the gut check, he walked that aisle. He was a better man than me last Saturday night. But like I said before, my ego and what I feel for myself will not allow this to stay in tune. In other words, I have got to have that title back. And that's all I got to say. Right now, he's the world champion. Right now, he's the best wrestler in the world in the eyes of anybody that knows anything about sports. Because believe me, to walk through an airport or to walk into a hotel or to walk the streets of any major city in the world and have somebody holler across the street or look up to you in the eye and say, "Hey, champ, what's going on?" There's no feeling like that in the world, because you see, I don't care what anybody else tries to tell you. There's only one world heavyweight champion, and he's the man that wears the belt that says National Wrestling Alliance on it. So right now, Dusty Rhodes, you're the man. But you take a look at what's coming after you, because you're going to have to show me again. Now, as we can see right here.
All right, Rick is about to actually go into the match where him and Dusty are in the cage right before Dusty defeats him. Before we talk about that, Harper, anything from Rick's somber mood right here?
Yeah, he says former doesn't fit Ric Flair, but he's still fucking Ric Flair. That's basically what he's saying. And I like when he said, this isn't Hollywood or a music station. This is pro wrestling. So what do you think that was aimed towards?
You know where it was aimed.
Yeah.
You know good and well where it was aimed. He just didn't say it, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because at that point, good
right.
God, WWF had every goddamn entertainer, and you know the drill. I mean, it was what it was. Doc, what'd you have?
I thought, again, this is the other side of it, that he says, on that night, Dusty was a better man. So both guys, this is how you make shit mean something, right? You make it meaningful by doing stuff like this, which is important. Both guys made it meaningful here, and as a result, it means something. I think it's important to note, because it's really easy to go, oh, back in the day, they used to hold a belt for a long time. When Dusty pinned him for the belt, that ended a reign by Ric Flair that was 793 days long.
I was going to say that too.
That means it was 2 years and 2 months
And you know who he won it from?
Kerry Von Erich. So it went from. So he took it back off Kerry. He held it for 2/3 of 84, every single day of 85, and then 2/3 of the way, or 40% of the way, probably 50% of the way, 50 to 60% of the way into 86. Almost 800 days straight of being the champ. Before that, he had held it for a 631-day stretch in the early 80s.
Yeah, but you just said back that you were making a point about people not holding it for long.
And then he's got another 400-day stretch in him. This and a 452-day stretch and a 426-day stretch. So there's 4 title reigns he has that last over a year. One of them lasts over 2 years.
That's why I felt like when we were kids, he was the champion of the 80s.
Yeah, really,
It's because he was.
Right.
And G, maybe that's the reason he forgot who Richard Flair was, because he spent every day for years at a time being Ric Flair.
Yeah, he did. It's insane when you think about right here, and when he finally loses, the person he defeated was Kerry. Like, it's just weird when you think. To me, it is, at least. It's weird to go, damn, that happened over 2 years. Like, before. It's the weirdest damn thing to me whenever I think about it like that.
And here's another piece of this. That was, as Dusty said earlier, Dusty's 3rd title reign. But that's how many times Rick's had it now. So now they both had it 3 times. And Dusty has it. So if you're doing the math, Dusty kind of has, he's nosed ahead a little bit because he's the current champ. So it also
he's nosed ahead on the fact that they've had it the same amount of times, but when it comes to days held,
Rick's
got a little bit of a lead.
But you're telling this story about these 2 guys being the top. They're the 2 guys that trade the belt. They're the 2 guys that vie for the belt. They're the 2 guys, the top baby face, the top heel, and they both have legitimacy.
Oh, yeah. No, I get that part. I'm gonna tell you, I thought for sure there was no way he'd ever lose it at this point. Like, when I was a kid, I remember when Dusty won it back. Like, Dusty won the belt? Like, I didn't think it was possible. I thought it was like, oh, those days are done. Especially after the Dusty finish. I mean, I didn't know it was called the Dusty finish at Starrcade, but my point is, I can remember watching Saturday night after he had won it. I was like, damn, he won that? Damn, Dusty won it? It just was a real weird feeling, but whatever.
And what are you getting ready to play here from the match?
Well, there's another segment where Dusty starts talking about, or Rick starts talking about, he's just basically, people go crazy, and then
that was my note. It was, hey, look at all those fans giving a shit about a title.
Harper, I was going to ask you that. Did you notice that?
Yes.
These people went nuts.
Let's go back to those fucking days, man.
Bro, there are people, and I don't have to play it, but there are people in the crowd high-fiving.
Yeah.
They're like
it's like they won a Super Bowl. It's like the favorite team won a Super Bowl. That's how they're acting.
It's like if you went to an NFL game on a Sunday and your favorite quarterback threw an 80-yard bomb and they just won the game. These people, it's crazy. Like, to go from that to where we are now, like, you see why these old timers are like, fuck this shit. It's so stupid. I mean, and why we can't enjoy it though.
They're showing genuine emotion.
They sure are.
Okay, so these days, wrestling is you got to drive down the road watching your own porn with your jacking yourself off. Back in the day, you had somebody that could do that shit for you.
Right. Okay, any other thoughts on Dusty winning the strap back?
Let's see if he can hold it, though.
Yeah. Let's see if he can hold it.
It's one thing to win it, but can you defend it?
Yeah. You got anything else, Hopper?
No. Let's move on to Ole.
So here's what I'm going to do. Ole and Arn are very somber the first part of their promo.
Yeah, I know, huh?
they're really monotone. I mean, it's not bad. They're but it's not really a promo. They're out there kind of getting interviewed. So what I did was I'm gonna bump it up a little, and we're gonna go to when they're doing commentary on a match between Garvin and Black Bart that we've already seen, and we know Garvin won because we saw that episode. And but I'm gonna play right here. It's like after the match, they're talking and they're back in studio. So here it is.
Okay, you saw the end of that match. We're back with the Minnesota Wrecking Crew. You mentioned one time that being a member of the Four Horsemen is a state of mind. Two of the Four Horsemen tonight, a bunkhouse match against the Rock and Roll Express. And then, of course, your cousin Nature Boy Ric Flair gets a chance to get that world title back. And you mentioned the Four Horsemen are always around.
Tony Schiavone in the Greensboro Coliseum when Dusty Rhodes did, and he's to be congratulated. He did upset the world heavyweight champion.
Don't even
well,
you do what you want to do.
Okay. Anyway, what I'm saying,
he ought to be taken out. Go ahead.
Anyway, in theory, what I'm saying, there was one fateful night that we didn't hang around. Maybe we got a little lackadaisical. Maybe we did get a little overconfident. Maybe we didn't realize that Flair was getting just a little fatigued, and a fluke, a miracle, one brief moment of divine intervention could happen on a given night. It happened. I assure you, in Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, we will be on hand. Things are going to go our way. Rhodes, you're going to pay dearly for your little brief moment of glory. I assure you, and tonight is as good a night as any.
And the Rock and Roll Express bunkhouse match.
First of all, people better understand that in a bunkhouse match there aren't any rules, all right? And we're just in the mood right now not to have any rules whatsoever. Don't care about the referees, don't care about anybody else, don't care about the officials, and we sure don't care about the Rock and Roll Express. When he gets done doing his singing, that's going to be about the end of it. In a bunkhouse match with no rules, anything goes. We take our boots, take our belts, and do anything we want to do. It's legalized mayhem. But the thing that gets me mad, and you're talking about congratulating Dusty Rhodes, and it's that. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a fluke. Dusty Rhodes knows what he's doing. They go ahead and they get a ring around there. They've got a cage. They got a bunch of policemen. They make sure that there's no way that the Horsemen can get in. I'm talking about Greensboro. Well, this time you can do anything you want down there. I guarantee you all four of us are going to be in that Fulton County Stadium. Make it 5 because J.J. Dillon's also be included. We get done with our bunkhouse match. You're not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. Tully's not going anywhere. I don't think Garvin's going to go anywhere either, but not because he's going to help anybody. And we're going to be watching. If there's a fence, if there's a barricade, if there's police, I'm bringing wire cutters. I'm going to bring anything I got to bring to get down there and make sure that this time justice is served. Dusty Rhodes, you and I were just good buddies from a long time back. I just love you to death. I love you dearly. You just make sure you show up in that Fulton County Stadium tonight because I guarantee you we're going to be waiting and we're going to have some presents going to take you a long time to unwrap. But the one thing that I can guarantee above all else is that you are not going to walk away from Fulton County Stadium under your own power. You are not going to be able to stand up like I've been watching you on TV so many times with your hands up like this. You're not going to be able to sing with David Allen Coe anymore either. Dusty Rhodes, you better just pack it in because tonight you're through.
Fans, we'll be right back.
All right, Doc. That was some funny stuff there, man. We were all chuckling at the beginning of that. Doc, you want to talk about why we were chuckling or why you were chuckling?
How much of a surly bastard do you have to be, like a real fucking shoot heel, to like cut off one of the greatest promo guys in the history of the business? I'm like, you're wrong. Oh well, just do what you want to do, right there.
That was hilarious.
Yeah,
I came unglued when he did.
He's like, well, yeah, you go ahead, Mr. fucking expert. Go do your thing, fucking dick.
How fucking real life healed do you have to be? I mean, seriously.
Bro, the best part about that when he did that, it was real.
Arn. It shocked Arn too. Arn was like, "What? Okay."
Anyway,
it was real. That's what made it so great. That was nothing. There was no work there. That was Ole in all his cuspness, where he's just a fucking nasty old bastard. That was exactly what that was. Ole's like, oh no, you're not gonna talk about that. And Arn's like, what? And he's like, nah, yeah, well, you know what? Never mind. You go do what the fuck you want to do anyway. like, I just thought it was great because it was real. It was like completely organic. Oh, but anyway. Rest of the promo. Go ahead, Doc.
Has anybody who's done more dirty recording gotten more time, like David Allen Coe? You know, Harper's outlined some of his hits. And here he is just getting
plug after plug after plug.
Yeah. I mean, his what song was what? Fuck him in the butt?
Fuck him in the butt. Fuck him in the butt. Fuck him in the butt.
I still swear that's a real
one.
That's not real.
Bruh. Google it.
Okay.
He's got
Well, he was out there celebrating with Dusty. We didn't even play that soundbite when he was in the ring celebrating with Dusty at the end.
Yeah, he's got a song called In Lover, dude.
Oh, gee. Okay, never mind. Let's move on from this guy. I don't like him.
Well, right. I knew that would bother you. That's why I said it. Yeah, but I do like the fact that he's like, you know, I'm bringing wire cutters. You know, it is just he's conveying the psychological, just sociopathic. We're going to get this thing righted, and it's not going to be good for you. And so that goes back, and this is the point where all those weeks of storytelling, when we sit here and say, well, the Horsemen say they're going to do something, they do it. He just told you they're about to do something. So shouldn't we believe him?
Of course.
Yes.
There you go.
They broke his leg before and injured other body parts on other people, so.
Yeah, that's what I love when he says, hey, Dusty, you know, you're a good friend of mine or something like that. I'm thinking, no. Y'all fucking handcuffed into a goddamn work truck.
Well, that goes back to where he turned on him originally in like 1980 or 81 in Georgia.
Oh, really?
So,
okay.
So their history runs deep. About as deep as David Allen Coe singing "Fuck 'Em in the Butt."
Okay, all right. Let's
that's your new favorite country music singer, isn't it, Mike? Who is your favorite country music
I don't have one. Country music is not my thing. Harper, anything else from this?
No.
Okay. Well, let's move on to some entertaining shit here. Buddy Landell got fired
a
while back, but Buddy Landell is back, and he brought a friend, superstar Bill Dundee, and I'm just gonna say this shit was hilarious to me before I even hit play. So I'm gonna play now. And I got a feeling Doc and Harper and I are going to have some fun after this is over. So, Buddy's back. I don't know if he's busting them guts out, but he's definitely having a good time. Here it is.
We are back on World Championship Wrestling and now joined by superstar Bill Dundee along with Nature Boy Buddy Landell. It's good to have you back with us, Buddy, and superstar Bill Dundee. Good to have you with us.
Well, it's nice to be here. Tony, what's your name?
Tony Schiavone.
Tony Schiavone. That sounds more like a disease that does a name, doesn't it? But I know what you're all saying, girls. I know you're all going to get on your telephone, you're going to call somebody, and you're going to say the real Nature Boy's back, and he's about the cutest little devil from Australia you ever did see, and that's right, Bill Superstar Dundee. Now, I'm not going to, well, what can I say? I mean, I know you're going to sit out here and brag and tell a lot of things that ain't true. No, we're going to sit here and tell you the truth, folks, because if we say we're good looking, you just got to look at your TV screen, and you're going to see we are. Now, girls, if you like him tall and blonde, you got the Nature Boy. If you like him a little bit shorter and a little darker, you got the Superstar. But it don't really matter. If it comes to singing, dancing, wrestling, and wrestling's the name of the game that we're in, Tony, right? We're the best there is. Now, we're the best single wrestlers in the whole wide world. The Nature Boy wins all his matches. I win all mine. But when you put us in a tag match, son, you've got poetry in motion. You got the real Nature Boy and the Superstar. Tell all the girls hello, Budro.
Well, Tony Schiavone, the Nature Boy, Buddy Landell, is back on the scene, baby. And I ain't hanging around back either, Daddy. I'm coming through the front door. Too tall, too tanned, and too good looking, Daddy. And another thing, Tony, I told you the last time I was here, they had that bogus guy coming out here stealing my name, I believe his name's Ric Flair. I told the people out there that I was the only Nature Boy, right or wrong. Now, it's apparent to the fact that Ric Flair couldn't get the job done, and that's why Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, took the belt away from him. Call it a fluke, call it what you want to, but the man's got the belt. When the checks are signed, he's the one that gets to heap a load. You know what I'm talking about? And that's what I'm here for, Daddy. And I brought the cute guy from Australia here, and we're here to get the business done, if you know what I'm talking about.
That's right. So, Tony Schiavone, I can just tell you something. This guy has been often imitated but never duplicated. complicated. So whatever you want to say, fellas, we're not coming here to jerk the curtain, Daddy. We're coming to close the show. Now I can imagine Dusty Rhodes. He goes around anything. I'm Dusty Rhodes, the man of the hour, the man too sweet to be thawed. Hey, we don't care how sweet you are, Jack. We just want that gold you're carrying. So just anytime you want to sign the belt on the line, Daddy, just either against the Nature Boy or the Superstar. We don't care, Rhodes. We just want it, and anybody else's. Oh, and the Road Warriors, they're big and bad. They're as big as oxes, and I bet they're twice as smart too, right? They're great. I'm not taking nothing off you, but we're the best there is, Daddy. Because like I just keep saying, girls, you think we're lying to you? Look at them on. Look how cute we are. Yeah, we'll tell you, we're pretty. We're the best there is, and we can also fight. You want to talk something?
Okay, let's take a look right now.
Harper, first time you saw this,
I was thinking, why is he dressed like the honky tonk man?
oh, Elvis looking son of a gun.
Yeah, and he's from Australia.
Doc and I were having a discussion about this. Like we never were like the biggest, or I think I saw a little bit more of Dundee than Doc did. Because I remember Dundee coming into Mid-South, even though he was doing some booking there. But Doc was like, man, I really, I didn't have Memphis, so I didn't see a lot of Dundee. And Doc was just saying how, like, when Dundee shows up, like, just how shocking it kind of is to see him on Saturday night. It's, like, weird in a way because you don't think about him as, like, a mainstay or anything on Saturday night. But this was just funny. But, Harper, anything else that you have besides the Elvis outfit?
You know what quote I love? We're not here to jerk the curtain. We're here to steal the show. I like that shit. I'm stealing that fucking shit.
We're not here. I quoted it. We're not here to jerk the curtain. We're here to close the show.
Daddy.
And then you got Budrow. Too tall, too tan, and too good looking.
Welcome back, buddy.
Budrow and the motherfucking hissy. Okay, Doc, what did you have?
I told you sons of bitches I'd be back.
Man.
I bet he walked through there 7 foot tall. Hey, baby doll, how you doing?
So stupid.
Man,
You're an idiot.
So here's the thing. What are the odds? What's the percentage chance that Buddy Landell was sober there?
None.
Define sober. Not drunk or
whatever.
I mean, because he might not have been drinking,
right?
But he may have had some of that Peruvian shit that he likes to talk about on other podcasts.
Sober means straight edge, pal. So,
brother, I was feeling my nose with that Peruvian. I told Black Bart, man, you want to go to Atlanta with me? Come on, man. Me and Black Bart did an 8-ball on the way to Atlanta. I was feeling my nose with that Peruvian shit. I don't go with the cheap shit. All right, buddy.
Here's the thing.
God bless you, Budrow.
I told you. Buddy didn't get fired for doing drugs. Buddy got fired for not showing up to work. So as long as he showed up to work this time, he's back. He can go clean up and learn a lesson. He just made sure he showed up to work.
I ain't just gonna fuck something up. I'm gonna fuck it all the way up. All right. Okay. I don't have the soundboard open. Go ahead, Doc.
Man, Bill Dundee throws. I mean, he's famous for throwing work punches that are stiff, that are just regular potatoes. But he just looks like 1978, man. Bill Dundee.
He looks so stupid here. It's entertaining.
Right.
Yeah.
And I say that
around his neck.
I say it as a compliment.
Oh yeah.
And these two just came out and talked shit about everybody.
Right.
And there's a redeeming quality about that there's money to be made with those two guys. And I guarantee you, because I know the story, Jim Crockett doesn't use these guys for much of anything.
Okay. Harper, anything else? Because I'm going to play part 2 after the match. When that Buddy
Jesus, there's more.
Yeah,
yes.
Let's play that.
Okay, so Buddy defeats George South. Buddy gets the win. Budrow wins with a figure 4, and he did hit the corkscrew finish on it as well. Got some nice height on it, you know what Buddy does. But here's part 2 after the match, after they're done with commentary. Here it is.
Bill Dundee up
What's
at the
the
ring.
slow-mo? Am I higher than the top rope or what?
Higher than draft.
Yep.
But
it would appear so from this angle.
You just jumped off the top rope, but you didn't. Look at that. Took 5 minutes to come down.
It's hell being extremely
This boy's so fast, man. When he goes to bed at night, flicks the switch off, he's in bed before the room gets dark.
You know, it's obvious that you guys have come here to World Championship Wrestling really ready to take on just about anybody. You mentioned Dusty Rhodes, you mentioned Ric Flair, you mentioned everybody.
Well, there's no sense coming to beat up George South. Everybody can do that. We come here to beat the best there is. And I know you say we're bragging. That's what I'm telling you. Just sign the matches with Ric Flair, the Rock and Roll Express, the Midnight Express, the Road Warriors. You just do it. We don't care, brother. We just come here to make a name for ourselves. We've already made it all over the rest of the world, so we just come here to show you how pretty we are and to tell you how bad we are. And when they sign the matches, we'll show you how bad we are, boy.
Tony, hey, when I left here, I was one of the top wrestlers in the world, okay?
National
hey, well,
heavyweight
whatever,
champion.
okay? Listen, I took 7 or 8 months off of attitude adjustment, baby. I'm back on the scene for one reason. I'm talking I could have wrestled anywhere in the world that I wanted to, but if it don't say Jim Crockett Promotion, it's not wrestling. It's not professional wrestling, and that's another reason why I'm here, Daddy. I'm working for class because I am top-notch with my friend Superstar Dundee.
That's right,
we're top-notch, Daddy, or we wouldn't be here.
Now, I'll ask you something else, and I bet you can go around and ask any wrestler in the rest of this territory right here, do they have Joe and Combs' private phone number? No, sir.
Superstar Bill Dundee, Nature Boy Buddy Landell. When we come back, we'll look at the Kansas Jayhawks. Don't go away.
Right up to dude. But Buddy says something about when he left there, and then Dundee goes, it was all politics. No, it wasn't, Bill. Buddy didn't show up to work. Oh. Doc, what did you have from that?
The only thing more entertaining than this segment would have been if we could have been out with them the night before.
God damn.
Y'all would be divorced.
And you wouldn't have a girlfriend.
That's right.
What?
Yeah, we heard about, the patrons heard about this, but I think it's time we break it to all the ladies out in the BTT Army that Harper's got a girlfriend.
Yeah.
That's it? Yeah.
That's it. What do you want me to say?
I love how you said it to us, and you're like, my girlfriend, and we were like, what? I told y'all that. You've been knowing that. No, we didn't know that.
I've been spoken for.
Okay, I hear that. So that means Amy, who used to listen to the show, haven't heard from her in a while. She can't come play with your Nintendo controller and work your stick.
Whatever happened to Amy?
Up, down, left, right, A, B, B, start, select.
Yeah,
something like that.
It's that time of year. She's probably out somewhere drinking gravy from a gravy boat.
You know, nice. I sit up at night staring up at the ceiling like at 2 in the morning, wondering what she's doing.
I bet you do. I think we ran. I think we ran her off.
From the pictures we saw, I would say a safe bet would be eating.
That was a big bitch, man. God, she was large. And she was pushing 4 bills, dude.
Damn.
She was big. That broad's ass was as wide.
It's all outside.
Bruh. I mean, you know how you have them big whiteboards in meeting rooms and classrooms nowadays?
Jesus.
That ass was that wide, bro. It was as wide as a whiteboard. Anyway, bro, she looked like a biggin. Okay.
She looked like she'd been to jail too. I don't know. I just got a feeling.
She just looked big, man. She looked like she needed Harper to put it in one of her foals.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's keep it moving. So next up is Dutch Mantell and Bobby Jaggers, and I don't know how much I really like this.
You want
Dutch
me to help
talk.
You want me to help you here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. So we all know, and let me preface this because we have people that listen to one show but not the other. So if you don't listen to the Smoky Mountain show, let me tell you, it's real hard to find somebody outside of the major names that the three of us will put over like we do Dutch Mantell. He is awesome at Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Awesome. And he is an underrated guy, in my opinion, in the history of wrestling in that time. But this segment is not good. I'm excited about seeing him on there because it's new blood. But, man, my first comment to the Menace was, these guys just reek territory guys and not national primetime cable guys. And I think part of it is because their gimmick looks like they ought to be in Black Bart's stable versus they don't stand out from him. And Bobby Jaggers does most of the talking and instead of Dutch.
Right.
And that's a mistake from Jump Street.
What'd you think, Harper?
I didn't know if they're supposed to be heels or faces because they started to kind of go into the Midnight Express, but they look like heels. They're all black.
And they also thanked Tony afterwards, and I was like,
right,
heels don't thank Tony. You see what Dundee said? Dundee was like, "What's your name?" That sounds like a disease.
What's your name, pal?
Now, when they said we got next to Kansas Jayhawks, I swear to God, I thought it was college basketball.
Come on. Yeah, I knew what they were doing, but when they showed Dutch, instead of saying Dutch Mantell, it said Kansas Jayhawks.
Right.
Yeah.
Come on.
This is weird, man. Because we love Dutch so much, and I actually thought Dutch was okay here, but it's just a weird fit. It just felt weird. It's the best way I can explain it. I mean, when you think of WCW, NWA Saturday Night 605, you don't think of Dutch and Bobby Jaggers for
Well, here's the other thing. So we're wrapping up the bashes. We're trying to kind of get to tonight, right? Because as we're watching this, tonight's the last bash. But they're doing what territories do. Most people aren't going to the bash, so they're reloading on the fly, which is what territories were always doing. And so I really enjoyed, from a perspective of us watching this for a year, okay, I get to see...
Yeah, you got new blood.
Dundee, Landell. These two guys. Who's coming next? There's 5 new guys of reputation that's on the show, but it's a weird kind of deal where they're trying to close up the angles and then introduce new guys. And what'll be interesting in the weeks to come is the 5 guys they introduce don't really land all that well in Crockett. And so what does that do to the promotion when you're trying to infuse new blood and they don't really, make a mark?
Yeah, it was weird. Like I'll go back to it. This segment was weird. I mean, I'm not poo-pooing on Dutch.
And the thing is, we're at a point of Smoky Mountain as we're not that's being played, but as the real guys doing this, we're at a part where they're about to start some renewal, and the thing that kept Smoky Mountain going as long as it did in a downturn was their ability to bring in new guys and keep the storylines and regurgitate storylines, keep feeding them in, like merging onto the highway kind of thing.
Yeah.
And while this was a really good episode for me because you got 5 new guys, it doesn't go anywhere.
Right.
Harper, anything else?
It's like they picked up 5 draft picks and they end up just kind of burning out.
They got 5 Chaz Greens.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm going to enjoy Buddy for this week. I'm just going to put that out.
God, that was awesome.
Yeah, with his fucking sleeves rolled up.
Yeah.
Miami Vice suit.
Yeah, buddy. So after Dutch and Bobby, Dutch, we love you if you're listening to us. Thank you, and you do a great job.
Dutch deserved better.
Yes, yeah, he did. And I mean, I'm not even blaming Bobby Jaggers here. It just felt like a weird positioning. The whole conversation was just really strange, like y'all said. It's like, are they heels? Are they baby faces? They look like heels, but they're talking about challenging to Midnight.
Go out there and talk for way. Go out there and talk for way too long.
Now, on the heels of that, we've got somebody we're pretty familiar with, and I'm going to play that right here. Captain Redneck Dick Murdoch. Here it is.
When I was told that Captain Redneck Dick Murdoch would join us here today on World Championship Wrestling, much excitement because you're talking about one of the true top great professional wrestlers in the world today, one of the top 5 in the NWA, and it's good to have you back with us on World Championship Wrestling, Captain.
Boy, thank you very much. It's just a privilege and a pleasure to be associated with Jim Crockett Promotions. And first of all, I'd like to take just a second and congratulate my old partner in American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, on winning that World's Championship belt. He beat a heck of a man, a heck of a champion at the time in Ric Flair.
Yeah.
I've been around, like you say, a few years, and I've watched a lot of World's Champions, and I've watched a lot of professional athletes. And those two right there are classics.
You come into, it's truly a hotbed for wrestling. A lot of great stars are here. You talked about Dusty, you talked about Ric Flair, and a lot of other great stars here. Great wrestlers are right here.
Well, to me, it's got the best there is in the world. You know, I was up in the WWF, and I was one half of the World's Tag Team Championship up there, and I came back to NWA. I came back to Jim Crockett Promotions, because like you said, they have got the finest wrestlers, I think, in a profession today. You've got those Russians, who I don't like. You've got an awesome team in the Road Warriors. You've got Magnum TA. I mean, you can go on Tully Blanchard, Wahoo McDaniels. I mean, credibilities and legends in their own time right here.
Okay, we're going to take a look at a match. Captain Redneck Dick Murdoch going up against Bill Mulkey. Let's take a look at that match.
All right, Doc, your thoughts on Dick Murdoch coming in? All right, I guess Doc took a piss break. Harper, you there?
He just seems like an old good old boy, like a legit redneck good old boy.
Yeah. That's what he is. I mean, he's out there with the old 1980s hat with the foam front and the mesh type back. Doc, I called on you, but I guess you're going to take a piss real quick. God, those things were so terrible. They were glorious back then. But yeah, he's a good old boy. I mean, he's Captain Redneck Dick Murdoch. And it's funny to see him here.
Well, you know what I noticed after watching that?
What's that? Rugged
Rod Price was right. Dickie would have eaten you alive, boy.
Oh, good old Dick Murdoch. Dick Murdoch was a piece of work, man.
Well, so anybody want to hazard a guess at how old Dick Murdoch is right there?
Oh,
that's a good question. Old. Well, how old was he? I mean, hold on, Doc. Before you say that, he died only 10 years after that.
Right.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. He died, I think it was like my first year in wrestling. He passed. I remember. I was like, damn. So, go ahead, Doc.
Anybody want to guess?
He's
44.
Yeah, you're about 40, 44. Fuck it.
39. That's what 39 looks like. He'll be turning 40 in 2 weeks from right there.
That's fake news, brother.
I also wonder how he lost that tooth. There's probably a great story.
I bet there is.
I love later on when we talk about the matches, when he does the commentary, just, hey man, I get paid the same as if it's 50 seconds or 50 minutes. Let's get this thing over quick.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah, really good point there. And I'll say this: Murdoch cuts what may be my favorite promo in Smoky Mountain, if that's a spoiler, because it's the craziest promo I think I've ever seen. Later on, so Harper, you have that to look forward to.
It is pretty insane.
It's insane, dude. I can't even. It's just insane.
It's the most glorious Southern wrestling thing you'll ever see.
It is. And then, so like, because I don't think you're going to play this, and that's okay, because it's not worth it to get to it. Because all of the problem here with this episode, and we'll get to it when we rank it, is they let all these guys go on for too long because they had to fill up an hour and a half, 2 hours of TV. Is he calls managers leeches, like, Cornette, you're a leech. And then he turns around and announces he was managing Ron Garvin tonight.
That was awesome. That was good. I love when he did that. Harper, did you have anything else?
And when he brings up the Iran crisis.
God.
He
Make
talks
America great.
He talks about that. He talks about the oil. He gets into some deep shit, bro. He's talking about the Russians. And I love the line where he goes, them Russians, they're over here, man. If Russia's so great, what the hell are you doing over here? Why don't you go back? I thought that was an awesome line.
He's got a point.
He starts getting into the political stuff, and I'm like, oh, buddy. With the Iran. Yeah, it was awesome, man. It was some good shit. That was some good stuff.
And that's the thing that's really frustrating, I guess. Look, man, it's 1986. It's a wild time. But we just talked about those 5 guys. And, I mean, Bobby Jaggers, I think, was – I'm talking out of my ass, but he's a solid hand. The other 4 guys were awesome. You'd like to see Crockett do something with these guys because, I mean, the charisma, the ability to cut promos and to go in the ring is just off the charts with guys like Murdoch and Landell and Dundee. If you don't know how this turns out, this is a real exciting episode because there's a lot of new opportunities for angles and feuds, and the talent roster just got way deeper.
Yeah, it does. All right, so let's grade this thing. I've been going first. Doc, you go first this time.
Man, I really struggled with this one because what I just said is important. I mean, I popped seeing Buddy back. I didn't know this was common because I don't have time to read ahead. I popped when I saw Buddy, man. We love Budrow. He was back just 7 months later. Getting to see a guy like Dundee, Murdoch's here. Making the belt seem so important. Just the importance put on the belt, and Rick being somber, and Ole scolding hard on national TV, and all these guys just cutting fantastic promos. But then it's like everybody's promo went too long. Every single person on here.
They weren't promos. They were like really interviews more than promos.
Because Rick said something like, because Rick said like, even the one you played, Rick was like, and that's all I got to say. And then he keeps going because everybody's like filibustering to like cover time.
Bro, Rick talked real quick. I don't want to cut you up, but I am. Rick talked for 5 minutes the first time. And then they showed a match, and he talks another 4 after that. He talked for 9 minutes straight.
And to be honest, he's the best talker in the history of the business, and that's too long.
Right. And the funny part is Monday Night Raw starts over the 15-minute promo every fucking Monday.
And and you know what? That's why we're covering this and not
that. Right. It's true. I just wanted to point that out, that factor there.
So there's that, and I hate recaps of things I've already seen. So I don't mind recaps of like, oh, we're going to show you something that happened at a house show, something I've never seen before. Okay, fine, it's new content. But to go back and watch matches I just watched last week, even if I like them, I'm like, I got to keep moving, man. So I really struggled because there was so much cool stuff going on, and then I had to feel like I was taking a step backwards. And I went back and forth. I'm going to give this probably a higher rating than you think, because I love new faces and territories. Give me a solid, straight up A-.
That's too high.
What you gave it, Hopper?
A fucking C, man. It was all. This was. I mean, it was great to see Buddy, but it was boring.
See, Hopper's got a point away. This was like a different kind of episode. It was a transition episode. It was, look, we're about to finish the bash, so I don't really know how much. I mean, they're obviously not even. It's not even a real TV taping.
This was just a big commercial for the bash. For that
finale. Yeah, like it talked about what had happened and kind of what was coming, and then at the same time, you had the Road Warriors introducing what looks to be a new feud with the Midnights. You had Rick talking about what happened. You had Ole and Arn talking about what's going to happen. You had the new people coming in with Dundee and Landell, Jaggers, Dutch. So, I mean, you had like a lot of change. I'm not going to be as hard on it as Hopper, but I did give it a B because it was just weird. I didn't hate it. And the reason I didn't hate it is because you had the Road Warriors, and then you had Dusty, which I thought he was funny, and then you had Rick, and then you had Buddy, and Dundee was just hilarious. But it's still, you think back on what we just saw a week ago, it wasn't that. That was the issue. So I understand your rating, Hopper. Doc, I understand yours too, and that's why I'm landing at a B with mine. Which makes sense. We're kind of all across the board because depending on how you look at it,
yeah,
we said it at the beginning. It's a different type of episode. It wasn't the same. Other than that, all right. So I tell you what, Doc, you got anything else? We're gonna roll through this thing, man. I'm gonna get it over to real quickly. I'm gonna get it over to Sassy Vegas talking his Buddy Landell story and then One Man Gang.
Do you have to be bad at your job all the time?
Oh, we got a Rolex, huh?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Shit, who's a Rolex?
Buddy.
Man, Buddy.
Yeah.
And I'll back it up, Buddy and Dundee, because they're just so ridiculous. Yes, and I say that in the best possible why I like wrestling way. So stupid is not an insult here.
Yeah.
It's a compliment in the highest order.
Sure is. So I agree there. I'm going Buddy. Harper, you going Buddy?
Yes.
Yeah, I am too. It's just so hard not to go Buddy. Oh my goodness, man. So
when you really go back, even because look, we watched wrestling 30 years ago, whatever, and you look back and you go, man, okay, so as an adult, you kind of look at it, who could you make money with? If I had to do this, who could I make money with? And man, and then you think about all the guys who could have made money and didn't. So maybe that's a top 5 we need to do. I'm thinking on the fly. Top 5 guys who threw away more money-making potential than anybody else. And he's got to be number 1.
Buddy?
Yeah.
I mean, off the top of my head, man, I hate to say it because we love him, but he's probably one. He's
what
probably
guy?
Number 1.
And I don't mean to make it sound like a derogatory thing, because some guys are just booked bad. Some guys, get terrible gimmicks. But if you just talk about charisma and ability and talking ability and charisma, just who left them, for whatever reason, maybe even outside of their own control, who left the most money on the table?
Yeah, you're on to something there.
Mm-hmm.
You are.